Have you ever felt like meditation is just making things worse? Like the mind attacks, the thoughts, the negative emotions actually become louder, more frequent, and even more painful after you start a meditation practice, or sometimes during a particular meditation session. You're sitting, you're trying to be still, and there's just more thoughts. And quite frankly, they're memories and they're very unpleasant ones. What is happening? Are you doing it wrong? No, you're actually doing it right, and this is the system working. And you just have to hold on for a little bit longer until eventually you get to a point where it doesn't affect you. Let me explain what's happening. First off, you perceive that there are more thoughts, and you perceive that there are more emotions, and you perceive that they are darker and more painful. But the truth is that you're simply holding on to the position of observer more. This is the constant stream, the constant bombardment that you live with. But when you are unconscious, when you're living without awareness, you are in it. It's like a rushing river full of debris and stuff floating in it, and junk and garbage. And you're in the stream and you're swimming and everything's bumping into you. And you're attached to every single thought and you are feeling every single emotion. And at the end of the day, you're just exhausted. When you begin to practice meditation as a form of observing your thoughts, it's like hopping out of that stream and sitting on the bank of the river and watching the river go by. All of a sudden, you're quite aware of how messy that river is, but it's not more messy than it used to be. You're just more aware of it. Okay, how does this actually help you when you're sitting there and there are just horrible memories? What you have to realize is that we'll talk some more about how thoughts are energy forms and they suck your energy. But for now, let's just be grateful that every time you sit in meditation or observation and you watch a thought go by, you do not give it your energy. You sit here, you hold your energy, and you say, I'm not going to be drained by this. I'm not going to be sucked dry by this. I'm going to let it go. When it goes, it doesn't have someone to play with. It doesn't have someone to engage with. And what happens, to suddenly shift metaphors here, is like bubbles in a glass of pop, soda pop. When you leave that glass, one at a time, a bubble will rise and it will pop. It will rise and it will pop and it will disappear. Every single thought tendency, every single pattern, every single pain body, pain globule that you have inside of you, every fear, every favorite way of feeling bad, if you will eventually come to you, seek your attention, and then float away and go away. You have to trust that process. If you do not engage in a thought or emotion that is coming up, if you don't engage in a thought, it will rise from your system, consider yourself like a little glass of energy, and this little bubble inside that will rise and it will leave you and it will go away. That is the system working. So meditation is giving the illusion that there are more of these thoughts that are bombarding you, but what that simply means is that you are successfully holding on to the position of observer. And if you continue to not engage with the thought for the meditation session, for that 15 minutes, right, then that thought will rise and it will leave you. And you have to trust what is guiding the process. Your spirit is guiding this process, right? Your spirit knows what you're ready to let go of. Your spirit will bring certain things to the surface, and you just simply observe it and let it go. Let it go. Do not think about the thought that comes up. Do not think about would you look at that thought. Do not try to engage in the thought. Do not try to be upset with the thought. Do not try to analyze the thought. Don't even try to log the thought. Not this. We're not doing a thought log here. We're just doing a meditation. Just let the thought be, and you continue to just listen to the sound of your breathing. Listen to the sound of your breathing. There's nothing else that you need to do, and just allow that thought to be where it wants to be. And when the thought realizes that it is not needed, it will rise and it will float up and it will leave you. Your spirit will guide this process. And every single day and every single session, you will let go of one more thing and one more thing and one more thing. The only thing necessary is maintaining that observer position. And you also have to recognize that as you get stronger in maintaining the position of observer, the one who wants to distract you, let's call it the egoic mind for now, for simplicity, that mind wants you to come back where there is pain, come back where there is fear, come back where there is irrational thought or behavior, come back to obsessions or compulsions, come back there, come back there. Think of it as two different places, and when you're over here, that egoic form, that mind, is lonesome. It becomes lonely, and like a child, it starts desperately trying to come up with a story to get your attention. If you've ever tried to tell a child that it's time for bed, or it's time to go home from the playground, or if you go to visit a child, like say your neighbor, your niece, whatever, someone, you visit the child and you're like, oh, it's time for me to leave. When the child feels that you're leaving, the child will suddenly come up with every single possible excuse to need your attention. Oh wait, I wanted to show you something. Oh wait, I wanted to tell you something. And then they'll be like, I wanted to tell you, and they didn't actually have a story to tell you. They just wanted to tell you that they just wanted to keep your attention a little bit longer. So in the same way, the part of you that compulsively thinks thoughts and feels emotions without ceasing is going to get lonely when you sit away from it and observe it. And it is going to try to lure you with engaging with it, to engage with it. And how is it going to do that? It's not going to throw thoughts of flowers at you. It's going to throw thoughts that are really, really sticky. And those are very specific to where you are at the moment. Those thoughts are going to be thoughts that they're so I want to say the word juicy, but I don't want you to feel like I'm mocking it. It's going to be somehow negative. It's going to be a thought of a terrible injustice, of something that really pisses you off, of something you're very worried about. It's going to be thoughts of a pain that you really, it hurts so much to remember what happened. I'm not saying to live a delusional life where you're not aware of these things. I'm saying that you have to come to a point where you understand who you are and you understand that there is a thinker, there is thinking that occurs. And the only way you can do that is to not engage with even the juiciest thoughts, even the thoughts that you think are urgent. Oh, I need to get to work. I need to get this done. I forgot to go to buy this thing yesterday. I forgot to take care of this. And don't forget, your mom needs you to check in on her. All of those thoughts are valid, yes. After meditation, you will deal with all of them. But tell yourself, understand logically that for 15 minutes you can survive. The entire world can survive without you for 15 minutes. Because we're not trying to make these issues unimportant. We're not trying to ignore all of the responsibilities in our lives or ignore all of the pain in the world. No, we're trying to recognize who decides to think about what and who decides how to spend their energy, what thoughts to spend their energies on. So when the mind comes up, realizes that you are not engaging with it, comes up with really juicy thought streams, you have to hold on a little bit tighter. It'll get a little scary, but continue to just simply breathe. Breathe, breathe, breathe. If I say maintain the position of observer, that may be a bit too vague, but just simply breathe. Be aware of your breath, listen to your breath, observe your breath, count your breath if you want, but do not pick up the thought that has been put down in front of you. You can do it for whatever session you're doing. If you start with 5 minutes, or if you do a daily 15-minute process, you can survive it. You will. Okay, so this is going to lead you to say, what is the point of this? Why are we going through this effort? Because quite frankly, when you're doing meditation, not just meditation, a guided meditation to like a stream or a river or a cloud or something, when you're doing meditation to observe the thoughts inside of you and to step away from them, when you're doing self-inquiry, when you're trying to dwell in your true self, when you're trying to recover your divine being, it can feel like a lot of work. This is hard. This is draining. This is exhausting. Again, it's not. Those are thoughts. That's how sticky they are. They're thoughts that come up to distract you. But to answer the question, why are we doing this? Why are we making the effort? We make the effort so that we learn who we really are, and the fact that that is separate from the thing that drags us through life, the thing that just takes us up and then down and then up and then down and then up and then down. You want to know the part of you that is continuously stable, that is continuously well, that is continuously happy, at peace, feeling joy and love. You need to be able to find that person. When you find that person and you can dwell in that person, okay, let me rephrase that. You're not finding that person. That person has always been there. What happens is you very, very suddenly realize something that you had forgotten a long time ago. You realize that the one who is listening, the one who is bombarding you with thoughts is not you. You recognize that voice like that. And you see the game, you see the tricks, you see the thoughts being thrown at you. And you go, oh, wait a minute. I don't have to take this seriously. I am here. I have always been here. I will always be here. Before all of that, above all of that, away from all of that. And I don't need this. I like to think of the visual of from The Matrix. If you've seen the movie, you'll know what I mean. If you haven't seen the movie, go watch it. It's really amazing. In The Matrix, at the end, Neo thought that his skill that he had to learn was how to dodge bullets. In this metaphor, let the bullets be the attacks of the mind. Let the bullets be the thoughts, the memories, the pains, the fears, the anxieties, the concerns, the obsessions, and the compulsions. They come at you, and you think that your job in life is to learn how to navigate a field of bullets. It is not. At the end of The Matrix, Neo understood what his job, what his aim was, what Morpheus was trying to get him to achieve. He had to come to a point where he did not need to dodge the bullets. When bullets come at you, you look at them. There's a beautiful moment where he just puts his hand out and he just very, very gently but very firmly says, no, not today. And he picks up the bullet and he looks at it and he knows what it is and he just kind of dusts it aside. You will get to that point. You will get to that point. But first you have to recognize that the bullets cannot harm you, that the shooter isn't real, that none of these things are real, that you're dodging something in an imaginary program. So I know this is a bit weird. I will link it all together. I'm going to do a series on the mind. I'm going to focus a lot on the teachings that come from Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now, and also some teachings from Gabor Mate about how our mind develops trauma patterns and how we build energetic pain bodies, and the fact that we essentially build an artificial world for ourselves that we live in that's full of pain and fear and suffering. And this will help us to understand, why are we doing this? Why are we meditating? So soon I will do that and everything will make sense. This video might seem just like a one-off video, but it was actually inspired by a comment by Salim, who was asking, what do you do when this happens? The answer is you just continue to observe it. Observe the observing of the observing. Just observe, 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 observe. Hold strong. If you get weak, turn to your breath, listen to your breathing, and finish your meditation session. Whatever you had committed to at the beginning, if you said I was going to do 5 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever, finish it. And do it day after day after day after day. Anybody can survive 15 minutes of boredom or 15 minutes of something challenging. You can. You really can. Do it 15 minutes a day, and 1 month later, well, it depends. Sometimes it's a week, sometimes it's a day, whatever. 1 month later, Look back and you will notice very clearly the progress that you have made. You have realized that there is a thing, a part of your being that bombards you, that doesn't want to shut up, that you have a roommate in your mind, in your head, you have a roommate who is a very, very annoying speaker, who asks for your attention so much that it drains your energy, and who only ever tells you negative things, so that that voice creates a world that is perpetually negative. You will never ever fully purge and cleanse that aspect of yourself. You will simply remember that you do not have to engage with every single bullet that it sends at you. You can just be like, no, not right now. Not right now. You will get there by firmly holding that position 15 minutes a day until the grace of God comes upon you, and you can do it throughout the day, and you can catch it several times a day, and eventually you will come to a point where most of the time you're not engaging with that thought stream, and most of the time you're dwelling as your natural, peaceful, joyful, and loving self. I hope that this made sense to you. I hope you find this relevant in your practice. Please do continue to leave me comments, because I do take them seriously, and look forward to more series coming up soon. I'm going to talk about the nature of the mind and how we get trapped in there, and a few other surprises. So thank you for your support and for subscribing, and have a wonderful day.